broadcast button on the GoToWebinar control panel to allow all attendees to hear you. This system will notify you once you begin your broadcast. The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hi all, good morning. Hi Vipul. Hey Arsha, good morning. Hi Rishabh. Hi Sandeep. Well, okay, so as a recap of yesterday, we were discussing about managing and monitoring your Azure VMs, creating load balancer, right? Distributing the traffics, how you can configure the endpoints on your Azure VMs, and we were also discussing about the alerts that you can perform, like configuring the alerts, how to manage the CPU percentage network in, network out on your VMs, creating a VM scale set, and connecting them with the load balancer, all these things. So let me know if you have any questions on that. And once if you guys are comfortable with that, let's go for the next module for today. Okay. So I don't think you guys have any questions, right? Are we good to go? Yes, cool. So today we have the next module which speaks about Azure App Services. So it's all about implementing your Azure App Services. Now, by the end of this module, you will be having the following objectives which will be covered. So you can understand what are the different types of app services that Microsoft Azure offers for you. And you will make sense about which particular app service should be selected for each deployments, right? The different services that you can use it on different scenarios, and what are the different deployment methods that you have. And we will also make sense about managing your web apps using PowerShell, right? We will go with the command line environment and we will work from there on creating a web app and cleaning up the process, all these things. We will also work with configuring the web apps with its certificates, custom domains, and managing the performance of the web apps using alerts. And finally, we will go for Traffic Manager. We will use Azure Traffic Manager to distribute the requests between two or more app services. So that's all going to be the point for today. I mean, the objectives for today. And let's start with what is this Azure App Services? As an overview, an app service is nothing but Azure calls all the platform as a service. I mean, the major PaaS components as app services. So you have web apps, you have mobile apps, you have logic apps, and you do have something called as API management. So all these things, the combination of all these things are called as Azure App Services in common. And once when you create an app service plan, you can use the same app service plan for any sort of deployment. Let it be for web apps, let it be for mobile apps, or even for logic apps. So there we go that Azure App Service is a combination of four services, which is web apps, mobile apps, logic apps, and finally you have API management. Starting with your mobile apps is something that can run on any device. And do remember, mobile apps is not the application or not the app that you find it on your Play Store or on your Google's, I mean, the iStore, or let's even say that in your Windows Store as such. Okay, so it's not dependent on any of these mobile devices, provided it provides the support for the backend of the applications. Let's say, for example, you have WhatsApp, and for the WhatsApp to send push notification, you can use mobile apps over here. Or let's even say that I'm going to have an app called Mintra, and for the Mintra I need to send push notifications. I can use the mobile apps over here. So it does not speaks about anything that's going to work at your front end. It's not about like creating your app packages which is at a front end, provided it works all at the back end. It creates a SQL table, It creates easy tables, and in your easy tables, you can push your data in, and at the other end, you can get the data to be retrieved as a push notification. So that's one sort of scenario where you can use mobile apps. And the other point over here is that mobile apps is common and it can support for any sort of platforms. Let's say it could be for Windows Store, it could be for App Store on your iOS, or it could be for your Google Play Store on Android. Or let's even speak about BlackBerry or anything. So it's open that it supports for anything. That's mobile app that you have. And the next comes logic apps. The logic apps is where you're going to build your business automation over here. Let's say that you need to collect all the data which uses a particular hashtag keyword on Twitter or in Facebook. You can use logic apps where you can build a flow and you can run it, you can trigger it, okay? And that will help you to collect the data of whatever you have from Facebook or Twitter. So the point over here is that you're not going for any developer console to call the APIs. That let me speak about that in detail on the API management. But still, you have the connectors which are available on the Logic apps. It might be of anything. It might be of BizTalk, or it might be even, let's say, Facebook, Twitter, Outlook, Gmail. Okay, it could be of anything. You call the connectors. You just sign in with that, and you represent what sort of action should be performed, and it goes for the recurrence of the time interval which you're going to specify. So let's say for an example, I need to collect the tweets which speaks about hashtag CodeSizzler, and I can just represent it. I can say that I need to collect all these tweets when someone tweets about hashtag CodeSizzler, and I will put up all these data on my Dropbox account. Yes, I can do this by using Logic Apps, and I will build a flow for this, and I will set a recurrence time that it can check for each and every 2 minutes or 3 minutes of time as such. So that's logic apps where you're not going to write the code. Okay. If you're good to go with the coding scripts, yes, you can go ahead. You can just search for, an ARM template. Okay. And with help of the ARM template, you can move ahead by using it, the logic apps. The next comes API management. API apps is something where you're going to host your RESTful APIs, okay, and that can be used by other services. Other services in the sense it could be an IoT app or it could be of anything, okay. So it's all like your API apps is going to work on hosting your RESTful environment. You built an API app, okay, you built an API and you put it towards API apps on Azure. We call it as API management, and that will be available for all your customers as a RESTful service. The next comes the major component, which we call it as web apps. The web apps is something where you're going to come up with a PaaS component. That is, you're going to put up your website, okay, and the website is going to be on either at a Windows, or it could be on a Docker environment, or even it could be on Linux environment, okay. Or you can even come up with a template which says like, I mean, I cannot call it as a template, but I can call it as a platform where I can say that I will develop a website using WordPress. Okay, so there we go up with web apps. Remember, web apps here is a PaaS service. Okay, web apps is not an infrastructure where you're not going to spin up any VM. Instead, you're going to move under a shared infrastructure. Okay, and you will put up your web app on a shared environment. So it is a platform as a service. Okay, it can also help you for scaling up. It can also come up with scale down operations, all these things. Okay, so that's web apps. Let's make sense about all these things in a much more detailed way. So I'll go ahead, I'll speak about mobile apps. The mobile apps is simply about you're going to build a mobile backend application, okay, where it can help you to send push notifications. It can help you to come up with user authentications, like let's say login with Facebook or something. I can store the data, whatever I'm going to send it for my clients on the cloud. On the cloud. Let's say it could be on a stable storage, or it could be as a NoSQL. I mean, like a MongoDB or Cosmos DB. It could be even a SQL one, and it can synchronize between the device, between the app, and the tables at any moment. Okay, so that's where we go for a mobile app. So mobile app will be globally available. It can support for all platforms. It might be for Windows, it might be for iOS, Android, anything. You just have a REST API and you will be having an access key for it where you can just connect with the same. So that's about your mobile apps. Next comes your, okay, this is again the same which we were speaking about. It's going to be an offline app that's going to sync the data. And next comes your logic apps. The logic apps provides a way where you can just integrate your triggers, you can integrate your connectors. Okay, I can come up with a scenario that I need to go up taking the data, whatever I have it on my Twitter or whatever I have it on my Facebook, towards my Google accounts or towards my Dropbox account. So the point here is I'm not going to code for it. I just have a visual designer platform and there I'm going to drag and drop the tools. Okay, I'm going to drag and drop the connectors, triggers, all these things, and my entire flow will be working as per that. So the logic apps has the advantages of designing your complex process using easy to understand design tools, which means that you have tools which you can use it, you can just drag and drop it. Okay, you can implement patterns here. You can use the templates even. You no need to go with a blank one. Okay, if you're not good to write the scripts or even with the designer, you can just go up saying that I will use the templates. You can also customize the templates what you have there, and then you can connect with the on-premise environment also to get it synced up. The next comes the building of your Azure functions and Azure service bus, okay, where you can take up the automation process to a higher level. This is how your logic app workflow looks like. Okay, you can find it on the screen that when a record is updated, you're going to transform it into XML and you're going to register it towards a data mart. Okay, so those are like common examples where you can use logic apps. This is how your entire workflow looks. Okay, and there you will be setting up an action, you will be setting up the recurrence. Well, the next comes your API apps. Your API is commonly for the SDK integration that you're going to do. Let's say I have an API which speaks about syncing up my data which is at on-premise towards my Azure cloud storage, okay, or with my Azure mobile app storage, something like that. Let's say a web app storage, okay. So I can build an app and I can make it to be available for my customers on the API management. So that comes as a REST. Okay, so that comes as a REST, which is a HTTP or HTTPS based URL, and I can call it on my application at any moment. So that's where we go for API apps. Your API apps will help you to integrate your existing Azure APIs. It might be at on-premise or it might be on cloud. Okay. Let's say on a mobile app, I can call the data which is available on the storage. So my storage comes up with something like .windows.co.net, right? Let's say my storage account name is CodeSizzler Store. I will have a URL called as codesizzlerstore.blob.co.windows.net. I can just call the REST API environment. And that's the same scenario what I'm going to use it over here. The next you have logic web apps. The web apps is where you're going to host a website, okay, or you're going to host a web application, and it matters that it could be of anything. It might be an HTML file, it might be a HTML5, or it might be a PHP, or it might be a .NET, okay, or even a Python. It could be of anything that you go ahead. So the resource that you have here is on a shade, okay, or in a dedicated VM, but you don't have the control over it. We have something called isolated service where you can have control over the virtual network environment, but you cannot take up the entire control of what you have it on your cloud. Okay, so it's like you don't have the control on VNets, you don't have the control over the infrastructure part completely. When you speak about web apps, which is on the basic plans like basic, free, shared, standard, all these things. When you go for isolated, then you have the control of your VNet where you can create subnets and you can put your web app over there. So here you can code at any language, you can code with any framework, and you can go with your PowerShell, or you have different sort of deployment methods like using FTP, okay, FileZilla or Visual Studio, or even a normal file explorer, or let me even speak about something like your Kudu console. Okay, on the cloud itself you have the Kudu environment, so you can even use that. So the different web app deployment options are the one which I was speaking about. You have the FTP. Okay, you can download the FTP publish profile information. You can get the username and password, and you can push the data in using FTP. And next comes Kudu environment. Kudu is where you can integrate it easily either with OneDrive or even with Dropbox. Okay, and it's there available on the cloud. You no need to download any file. You no need to come up with installing any SDK or anything as such. Okay, so that's Kudu. And you have the web deploy. The web deploy is where you're going to deploy your code from VSTS, okay, or even from a normal Visual Studio towards your IAS. So that's web deploy that you have. And here you have the Azure pricing tiers. As I was discussing before, you have something called as app service plans. So you need to create an app service plan, and the app service plan comes up with different modes like basic, shared, standard, all these things. So here we go. You have free, shared, basic, standard, premium, and you do have something newly come up called as isolated. So the free is you get a limited amount of storage, let's say 1 GB or something, where you can host your web app, and it will not provide you the SSL. It will not provide you the deployment slots options. Okay, it cannot support you for staging all. It cannot support you for domain mapping, which we call it as custom domains. Okay, it cannot support you for traffic manager. So all those things will not be available. I will just make a note of it so that you guys can understand. So Edureka Azure App Services, and here you don't have you have something called as you have different deployment options first. So the first one that we have is it speaks about a web deploy. Okay, web deploy is from your Visual Studio, or let's say even from your VSTS. Okay, so all those things we call it as web deploy. And you have FTP based, which is FileZilla. Okay, you can put up with FileZilla or even using a file explorer from your Windows. And you do have something called as speaking in detail. We have something as Kudu console. Sorry. So you have this Kudu console. The Kudu console is where it's going to help you to move up with online itself. Okay, and you can also do the integration from GitHub or from let's say Dropbox, anything as such, okay, or any from any sort of repository. So that's all like different sort of deployment options that you have. And speaking about app service plans, we also call it as pricing. Okay, the basic one is your free, and next comes basic, standard, okay, premium, and you have the isolated one. The free is it gives you limited storage, 1 GB of storage, and you can host your web app. That's it. Okay. The basic comes up with a higher storage functionality. It supports you for SSL. Okay, the security certificate that you can generate. It also supports you for I mean, like you can put up your deployment slots. Okay, so it's all scaling. You can be at free. You can come up with basic. Okay, all these things. And you don't have the control over VNet on all the top things, whereas here you have the control over VNet, and it will support for, okay, it's VNet. It will support you for traffic manager. Okay, it will support you for SSL. It also supports for things like your deployment slots. So you have all these things which are added up over here. So that's the different sort of things that you have. Okay, and the higher plan is your isolated one. Oops, sorry, one sec. Okay. So this is how it's there on the old portal. Now you cannot find the same. Okay, but still I will show you. You can go up. See, you have isolated, which has separate VNet. It has separate private access. Okay, private IP. It can scale up to 100 instance. The auto scaling. Whereas in the basic, you don't. You have 3 instance up to a manual scaling. Okay, and you do have the free one. See the free one, which comes up with 1 GB of storage alone. So that makes sense. It's not going to cost you for anything. Let's go for the demo on creating a web app. Okay. So I'll go to the Azure portal here and let's start working for the same. Let's go for create a resource and I'll go for web and I have web app here. So let's go for this web app. And here I'm going to name my web app. Let's say I will name it as CodeSizzler. It's already taken by me, sorry, India. I'll name it as CodeSizzler India. And I'm going to select the subscription here. I'll put it on a resource group named as Edureka resource group. And this is what I was speaking about. You have the OS environment where you can host it on Windows, Linux, or at a containerized environment, which is Docker. So here I'll go for Windows and let me create an app service plan. So I can click on create new, and this is what we call it as pricing plans. I'll go for naming the app service. So let me name it as CodeSizzler apps and I'll deploy it at this should be the nearby data center location for your customers. I'll select Southeast Asia for me and let's go for pricing tier. And in this pricing tier, you can find the different things. So the UI has changed. Okay. You have B1. Okay. That's the basic. And you have a shade one also. You can go here. See, isolated is I. And in production you can click on see additional options. You can find standard S1, sorry, S2, S3, all these things. So now I'll go for a basic one. Okay, I'll click on basic. It supports for CPU, it supports for memory storage, custom domains, manual scaling, all these things. So let's click on apply and I'll click on OK to get it done. So you do have app insights here, okay, which collects the logs. It collects all your diagnostic logs and it gets saved. If you need, you can click on for it. I will just go for off and I'll click on create to create the web app. Okay, let's check it. Yep, it's getting created. Any questions meanwhile? Hey guys, any questions? Are you all connected? Harsha? Chantu? Okay, cool. Okay, so here goes the web app which has been deployed. Okay, and let me pin to the dashboard and I'll go to the results. Well, hope you can find it. We have the URL, see? CodeSizzler India.azurewebsites.net, and it's on basic, the smaller one. So when I click on this link, right, it will go up for the website, okay, the one which I have created now, and I would be having a template there, okay. It's a template, it's a default template that Azure gives me, so I can just click on it to show you. So this is a template which I have, okay. So here I can put my HTML site or I can put my PHP site, anything as such. Is that okay? Any questions? I hope I'm good to go for the next one, right? Guys, make it interactive, please. Where do we upload our HTML files? Good, Chandu. Thanks for your question. I was like highly depressed. There are no questions right from morning as such. Okay. So yes, you can upload your HTML. I will create it and I will show you. Okay. And it can be uploaded from FileZilla, or it can be even from a file explorer, or we will use Kudu console also. We can go with anything. Okay. I will show you guys. Don't worry. How it will generate the URL. Harsha, you gave the URL. Okay, it's Azure task to generate the app service. Okay, you have given the URL and it will take the name of whatever you have given. So this will get generated on a Windows server, a common Windows server. Okay, well, so let's go ahead. I will move ahead on the question what Chandu was asking about the deployment, how I can move. So let's go for this. I'm in a I'm here in the Mac environment. I'll just go for Windows. Okay. So what I am going to do is I'll go for my lab VM first and I'll connect for it. Click on continue. Okay. Let's wait for it. So I will go for this local server And let's turn off the IE enhanced security configuration. And let's go for the Azure portal now. Let's go for, okay, it's getting loaded. Yep. Let's go for portal.azure.com and I will log into my Azure portal. So here on this site, I hope you remember that we have created the web app, right? On the same account. Okay. So here you can find that we have web app. I have this web app. Okay. Just for your comfort, I have come for Windows environment. And here I will show you guys. See, the first thing that you need to do is you need to create a HTML file. Okay. So I'll go for Notepad and I'll create an HTML file now. So for your visibility again, I'll just increase the font size. Yep, let's go ahead. So I'm going to create it as HTML/HTML1. Welcome to the session on Microsoft Azure. Okay, so this is my content for the site, and I'm going to save this as index.html. Okay, so I've created this HTML file, and now I'm going to push this data in. So consider you have something called as FTP first. Okay, I'll first speak about FTP, then I will go for GitHub, all these things. Okay, I'll also speak about Kudu console. So first will be my FTP, the second one will be my Kudu console. So let's go for the first. You can find Get Published Profile. Click on the Get Published Profile. You will get a file downloaded. Okay, let's click on Save and I will open the file. So I'll open with a notepad and you have the information here. See, I have a publish URL. Can you find this? You have a publish URL here, an FTP URL which has been generated. You too have a username and you also have the password which has been generated. So let's copy this publish URL now. I will copy the same and I will go for the file explorer and let's paste it here. So it asks for the username and password and ideally my username is here. I will copy this username and the password, oh, sorry, yep, the password is here. I'll copy this password as well. So let's give the password and I'll click at log on. Yes, I can see not seen. Hi Sandeep, what is it not seen? Sandeep, are you there? Okay, so I have just logged in and when I go to this root, you can find there's a page called hosting start. This page is nothing but, see here I have it, right? CodeSizzler India www.azurewebsites.net. This is the page. Okay, this is the hosting start page. And now when I push the file, Vipul, okay, Vipul, the topic is like huge. Okay, please travel along with us. Still, I will repeat it again for you. Okay, I have downloaded the published profile information from my Azure portal. Okay, so here I have get published profile. I have downloaded this, and from here I will get this file. Okay, I have a published URL which has been generated. I will copy this published URL. I will open a file explorer window. Okay, I can go here. I can open a file explorer window and I will paste this published URL. It will ask me for a username and password, and by that moment I'm going to pass the username and the password which I have it here. Okay, I'm going to share this. So once when I give these things, what I would be getting here is I get a root directory, and in this root directory you can find the hosting start.html page. And that's nothing but the template what you can find it over here. Are you clear, Vipul? Okay, cool. So now I will go ahead and let me open, excuse me, a new window. I have this index. Okay, I'll just drag and drop it on the root directory. So once when I drag and drop it, I will come back here and I will say that the page has to be refreshed. Oh, sorry. Yes. And you get the content over there. Okay, so the site has been updated now. So the page name is index.html, and you need to make sure that you come for this application settings, and there you will be having default documents. See, you have default documents here. Scroll down. Here in this default documents, you should have given index.html, which is specified. Let's say if you're giving wipul.html, I can click on add new document and I should mention it is going to be wipul.html. Are you clear? Any questions? Cool. Okay. So that's about deploying your web app from your the normal FTP. Okay. The next is your Kudu console. So for the Kudu console, what you can do is see here in this link, you have CodeSizzler.india.azurewebsites.net, and in between here I will add SCM. Okay, the console management, which will take me for Kudu console. I hope you can find the screen. Okay, so let's add SCM and I'll click on enter. It gets logged into its Kudu environment. See, this is my Kudu environment, and here I'll go for the debug console. I can go for PowerShell. You should find site and you have root there. Let's go for root, and you can find the page index.html. So let's click on edit and I can edit it over here. Okay, let's say I will remove this. Okay, or I can even script it over here itself. I will say HTML again. Okay, and I can script it here saying that welcome to Microsoft Azure platform. Okay, so then I will click on save. I can go to the URL once again and you can find the changes. Welcome to Microsoft Azure platform. Are you clear, guys? Let me know if you have any questions, please. What if we have multiple page websites? That's a good question, Arsha. So if you have multiple pages, okay, consider I'm going here, I'll create a new page, okay, I'll say new file, I'll name it as pharaoh.html, right? I'll click on edit, and again I will add some content. This is a page for Harsha. Okay, I'll just add this. Let's click on save. And now I will go here and I will say pharaoh.html. I will get it. Okay. And the other point is that I can set priorities. See, application settings, I can go here. It's all in priority basis, what you represented over here. I can go to the default documents and I can add it at the last as well. So first it will check for default.html. If it's not there, it will check for index.html. Then for hosting start.html, then maybe you can add pharaoh.html. Is that okay? Asha, is your question is clear? Okay. And the next question, Sandeep. Yes, on first day we have done this task. Okay, cool. Can we upload the files directly from GitHub as well? Yes, you can upload it, Chandu. I will show you. And for the root folder, yes, go for the site, add SEM in between. Okay, on your website name, add SEM in between. Sorry, SEM. It should be sem.azurewebsites.net, not this pharaoh.html. So you get landed up here. Go for debug console, go for PowerShell, and there you have site and you have the root folder. Is that okay, Chandu? No, Arsha, it could be of any format. It could be even PHP, Python, anything. The point over here is you need to come back. You need to provision it over here. You need to say which platform you're going to use. Okay, if it's Python, say the version of Python that you're going to use it over here. Okay. Any other questions? Okay, guys. So let's go for the next topic. Can we update main page? Yes, you can update the main page as well. That's what I did, right? I will go for, okay, I'll go for index.html. This is my main page. I can edit it from here. Any other questions? Oh, you mean the hosting start.html? Yeah, go ahead. Click on hosting start, edit it. See, you have the content. You edit it from here. Harsha? Okay, cool. Fine. Well, so the next topic is about we have to discuss on, excuse me. So this we have done, creating web app. Okay. and we have also deployed using FTP for web app deployment, and we have used Kudu as well. The next is about deployment slots. The deployment slot is nothing but you go ahead for the staging and the production one using this deployment slot. Okay, so let's consider whenever you go for a web app deployment, consider let it be Flipkart or Myntra, anybody, they would be having a production site and they would be having a live site as well. Okay, so let's take up a scenario. You have Big Billion Day by tomorrow, okay, or you have a Amazon Flash sale by tomorrow, and you want to put up your content, whereas you don't want your customers to lose the business. I mean, you don't want to put your site to be down for today, and in that case what you will do is that you will develop a new website content, you will make it to be available on the cloud. Okay, you will do the performance testing and everything, and once when you feel that the site is up, you will come up with swapping the operations. Okay, so the advantage over here is that you can have your staging and you can have your production site both on the cloud itself, and you don't have a maximum of downtime when you go for swapping the site content from the production towards the staging or from the staging towards the production one. So I will make it simple. I don't want you guys to get it confused. So what I will do is I'll just go here. See, your production site is the one which is live. Consider flipkart.com. Okay, and you have a staging site which is under development by your engineers. Okay, so you go here and you will say that it's going to be, for example, flipkart dot or flipkart hyphen slot dot azure websites dot net. Okay, so it will be like this. Let's remove this. Yes, and this will be like your flipkart.com, sorry, dot azure websites dot net. Clear? Now the point here is that I can put up a site content, okay, either over here or this is the production site which will be live. I can make it to be always available, okay, and I can also develop a content for this site, and I can make it to be available on GitHub or let's say on a Dropbox, anything as such. And I can do the performance testing on this staging site. Once when I feel it's going to be up, I can swap the content what I have here towards the production site, and from the production site I can move back the content what I have towards the staging site. So let's say by tomorrow it's going to be the end for Flipkart offers, then I can swap the content again. I can do rollback. Okay, so there I go for staging and for the production, which we call it as deployment slots over here. Is that okay? Any questions? Okay, so I'll go for the demo now. Let's go for the VM. So here what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new site. Okay, so consider I will go for a notepad again, and I'll create a site named as Welcome to Microsoft Azure Sessions version 2.0/H1. Okay, so I will save this with the same name, but this time I will put it on the desktop. It should be the same name. Okay, so I will make it as index.html at desktop. So I have saved this. Chandu, you should be able to edit it. Okay, give me a second. I don't want to drop the flow. I will complete this and I will come back. Okay, so I will just go here, and what I will do is I will open a new page. I'll go for GitHub. I'm going to push my file for GitHub. So let's go for github.com and let me sign in for GitHub. And here I'm going to create a repository. Okay, so let's click on create new repository, and I'll name it as Edureka, right? So this is going to be my master site, which I'm going to say. This is a master. Okay, this is optional, right? I will remove this. I'll just initialize this with a README file, and let's click on create repository. And here I'm going to upload the files. So let's click on upload files, and I'll choose the files which is a desktop. Okay, the new version that I have it in desktop. So let's select it, and I will upload the same. Okay, so I have this file index.html, and yes, now let's go ahead. I will move for the dashboard, and I will say you have deployment slots here. Okay, so let's go for deployment slots. Remember, I'm at a basic one. It will not support me for deployment slots. See, I should be on a standard or the premium one. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to move for scaling operation. So let's scroll down. I'll go for scale up, and I will increase the size. From B1, you can find a blue color here. From B1, I will go for a standard one. So let's go for production, and I will say it's going to be S1 standard. Let's click on apply, right? And here now let's go for the deployment slots. See, scaling up is not a matter of time at all. It's like just like seconds that it gets scaled up. I'll go for deployment slots, and here I will create it. Let's refresh the page. Yes. So I will click on add slot here, and let's name the slot. So I will name the slot as slot 1, and it's going to be from the master site, which is CodeSizzler India, and I'll click on OK to get it done. Okay, the slot has been created, and click on the slot. You will get the same page like what you have for the web app. See, slot 1, you have web app. Okay, you can scroll down, you can go for deployment options, and here I will choose the source. So my source is from GitHub. So let's select GitHub here. Authorization, let's select authorize, and let's authorize the Edureka one. Let's click on OK to proceed. And I need to choose the project, which is the Edureka's repository. So here I have Edureka. I'll select Edureka here. Let's go for performance test. And here I can add a virtual performance test. So here you have the performance test named, all these things. Let's click on OK. It will do the performance test automatically. Okay, let's click on OK to get it done. Yes, so now it has been created. You can go for the overview, right? You have the slot. You can click on this. See, you get the content. So the content is now from GitHub. Okay, the one which I have it here. This content, index.html. Is that okay? Any questions? Any questions, guys? Okay, I don't think you people have any questions. Cool. So now let me go for the question what Chandu, what is the purpose of GitHub? Oh, Harsha, that's really nice. Harsha, GitHub is a repository where you can go for it. Okay, you can develop your scripts, you can write your code and all these things. You can integrate with any sort of things like VSTS, and you can do the performance testing and everything. Okay, so GitHub is normally a developer repository, what we have. Any other questions? Okay, Chandu, coming to your question, I'll go for the master one. Okay, so here I will go for application settings. I told you you can work from Kudu. Okay, so what I will do here is I will go for CodeSizzler, Kudu console. Let's go for debug console, PowerShell, site, root, index.html. So let's click on edit. I'll take all these things. See, I'm able to edit it. I will say again, this is for Chandu. Okay, and I'll click on save. So now I can go for the site. I will say again CodeSizzler, India dot azurewebsites.net slash hosting start dot html. Is that okay? Asha, yes, GitHub is open source. We just need to add slot 1 and slot 2, etc. to access the deployment slot websites. Is it? Yes, Chandu, you're right. Could you please show GitHub demo once again? From the FTP also you can open it with a notepad and you can access it. I'm trying to connect to FTP site with the username and password. See, one thing is if you have a proxy block, then you will not be able to connect. That's another problem. Okay. Make sure that you don't have any proxies. You should have open internet. Then you should be able to connect. Sandeep, I want you to be with us, Sandeep, because it's like long way that we need to go. I'm really going slow. Okay, so please try to come along with us. See, you need to go for deployment options. Okay, you have created deployment slots. After hosting your, pushing your file into your GitHub, come for deployment options, select deployment options, choose GitHub. Okay, you will be having source, select the source now. Okay, the project, the repository, what you have created, and the branch, and perform the performance test, and that's it. So what's the problem, Sandeep? You have any issues? Cool. That's fine. How to publish this website in public domain. We will speak about it, Asha. It's called domain mapping. We will speak about it. Okay. Well, I will just complete another demo and then we will go ahead. Okay. So now I have made the site, I mean the staging content to be available on my other one, that is the GitHub repository. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I will go for swapping operation. So first I need to go for my deployment slots. I will click on the slot. I have the content available. Okay. So just for your understanding, I will show you once again. Let's close these unwanted things. See, uh, yep. When I click on this link, okay, I get this content, version 2.0. And I will also open a new one, which is CodeSizzler India.azurewebsites.net, and I get this content. So I'm going to swap the content now. So for that, what I need to do is I need to click on swap here. So let's click on swap, either with a preview or a direct swap. Okay, you need to select it here. Source from slot 1, it is to move for the production. Let's click on OK to get it done. Let's wait until it gets completed. Okay, so now let's refresh this site. See, can you find the content? Okay, I hope you can find the content. So it gets done. So that's how you can do the swapping. Yes, you're right, Chandu. When you have developer and the production environment, then you can use this. I hope you guys should be, if you're using Uber Eats, you should have recently seen that there was an issue on that. It was a public testing that they went on the cloud. Okay, so by that we come to the end for this staging and production deployment slots, all these things. Okay, the further things are about like performing alerts, performing the production. Okay, and I mean alerts and about the custom domains, what Asha was asking about. So those are the topics that we further have. Let me know if you have any questions. Okay. Well, guys, I hope you people don't have any questions. Shall we go for the next? Yes, Harsha. Azure Websites.net will come by default. Okay. So the next is about we have to move ahead where we are going to speak about the continuous deployment. This we already did now. Okay. So you are integrating with GitHub. Okay. So you have Azure website. The end user is going to ping with the production one, and you have the developer also where he is going to call from the GitHub. Well, the more we go is to speak about the alerts. Okay, this is all we have done. The swap operations. Okay, the custom domains. Yes, Harsha. So the custom domains is where, let's say, normally when you buy a a GoDaddy account, you should buy a domain which comes up with, let's say, for example, CodeSizzler.in, right? So here also it is same. What you will be doing here is that you will go ahead speaking about the custom domains. You can scroll down, you can find custom domains, and now the master site is with a name called CodeSizzler. Okay, this is slot. I will go for the master one. Yes. So the master site is with the name CodeSizzlerIndia.AzureWebsites.net. So let's click on this CodeSizzler. Let's scroll down. Let's go for custom domains. Okay. So in settings, you have custom domains. I will click on custom domains. And here you can find, you have the IP address. Okay. And you have the domain name as well. So you can buy a domain from here. You can say buy domain where you need to pay for it. Okay, you should buy the domain here. You can give the things, and once when you buy the domain, you will be getting two things as A record and C name record. So you need to map it with this particular IP address. It's a payable option, so I'm not going to use this. Okay, just makes sense. I can give the IP address towards the new one. Okay, and there it gets done. So once when you give the IP address on the new domain, what will happen is that it will be like this. See codesizzler.in. It's getting loaded. Yes. We are getting landed up on this site. Okay. The same can be done using excuse me. See CodeSizzler. This is the master site. Dot Azure websites dot net. So this is the master site that we have. It's same. Okay. So when you do domain mapping, okay, I have a certificate. This I will get it done. So when you do domain mapping, your customized domains will come up with a master site content. So it gets landed up towards the master site content. So to make sense more in detail, I will share you a PPT file which I have. Okay, that speaks about doing domain mapping. Okay, I'll share that file with you guys. You can find it on YouTube or probably by after 2 hours or something like that. Is that okay? Anything else? Any other questions? Fine. The next point that we have here is to discuss about the alerts that we have. Okay, performing alerts and performing monitoring all these things. Oh, before that, we have to work with PowerShell. Good. So I will go with PowerShell and I will let you guys to know how you can push a website. I mean, how to create a web app, all these things. Okay. So I hope you guys know what is a PowerShell. PowerShell is a command-led environment. Okay. So previously we were working only with the Azure Classic one. Now it helps for the Azure Resource Manager as well, and it supports for open source environment also. Okay, so you can install it on your local environment and you can use it from your side. Whereas if you want to work it from the cloud, you can just go for Cloud Shell, and from the Cloud Shell you can work. Okay, so for this demo, I'll work from the PowerShell one. So I need to install PowerShell. I will go for. Hope you guys have done this by day one itself. Azure.microsoft.com. Let's go for more and resources. Scroll down. Let's go for downloads. Let's go for Windows install. Oh, I'm sorry, not this one. PowerShell. I downloaded Storage Explorer. Okay, it's already installed. So I'm going to move for the web platform installer to check if my cross platforms are installed. So we have this web platform installer. So I will search for cross platform. There, click on add. Let's click on install. Accept it. Okay, let's click on finish and I will click on exit here. So now I will go for the PowerShell. So PowerShell underscore ISC. So the very first step I'm going to do here is I need to log in. So let's go for login hyphen Azure Resource Manager account. Let's sign in here. It's Rinky. Okay. So here I will say get hyphen Azure RM subscription. I just have one subscription. You can find it here. So let's select this, select hyphen Azure RM subscription with the name as Azure Pass. Oh, okay. Azure. Okay, there's some error. Give me a second. Select hyphen Azure RM subscription hyphen. It's supposed to be yes. Let's try with tenant. Copy this tenant ID. Yes, there we go. So this particular subscription has been selected, and I will now say that I need to get all resource what I have here. So get hyphen Azure RM resource. So this will give me lab VM and the one which we have created. See lab VM, web apps, all these things. Okay. The next point that we are going to do here is we are going to create a new web app. So new hyphen Azure RM web app, and we need to name it. So give the name. I'll name it as CodeSizzler new. And the next one is your resource group name. Let's use the same resource group, Edureka-resource group. Location, it's going to be Southeast Asia. Okay. And app service plan. Let's use the same app service plan, or else it can even create call it by default. So let's just click on enter and it gets created. And then you can go for the Kudu console or Visual Studio and you can push your files in once when it gets created. So there we go. Okay. So CodeSizzler new.azurewebsites.net has been created. Let's go for the Azure portal. Let's go for Edureka resource group. See, we have CodeSizzler new and the app service plan has also been created. Any questions? Hey guys, any questions? Okay. So further, to remove this, you can just go for remove hyphen Azure RM web app. Okay. So give sorry, give the name. I will name it as CodeSizzler new. Resource group name is Edureka resource group. Let's give yes to remove it. Oh, what's the spell? It's Edureka -RG. Okay, and that will get it removed. Okay, and now the web app is alone removed, but not the app service plan. So you need to check with remove web app service, remove Azure web app service plan. Okay, I don't remember the exact command. Let's search here. App service. Okay, remove Azure RM app service plan. Okay, let's name the app service plan which I need to remove. So the name is what's the name it has created? CodeSizzler new. Okay, so let's call it CodeSizzler new. Yes, it is at Edureka resource group and it gets removed. Is that okay? So now let's get the resource get Azure RM web app, okay, which is on a resource group named Edureka-RG, and you can find only codesizzlerindia.azurewebsites.net. Okay, not CodeSizzler new. Any questions? Okay, guys. So by that, we come to the end for all these things, and we still have traffic manager alone, where we are going to make sense about traffic manager in detail. Okay, so let's take a break now. I will, let's say, I will log in by another 20 minutes. Okay, let's have a break for it. Meanwhile, take a demo. Okay, please let me know if you have any questions. Is that okay? Are we connected, guys? Okay, cool. Fine. So let's join by 20 minutes, guys. Please do the demo if you find time and let me know if you have any questions. Okay, thanks. Hi Sandeep. Hi Chandu. Can we set up the deployment option as GitHub for the main web app, which we created at the first step rather than deployment slots? Yes, you can do that as well, Chandu. But speaking in a real-time implementation, we will not be using GitHub. We need because there will be a downtime for you. See, you have a storage. Okay, when you create a web app, you come up with storage. I will show you here. Azure App Services. Shit. Yes, Azure App Service plans. See, when you create it, right, you would be getting a. Give me a second, or I will show you on the slides. One moment. See, here you have storage. Can you find this 250 GB storage? You have 1 TB of storage. Okay, this is where your master site should be located across. In case if you're saying that I will have it from GitHub, it's going to call from GitHub, and that there it's going to be a latency. There's going to be a downtime on that period. So on a major infrastructure, it's not recommended that you put it on a GitHub or Dropbox as such. It should be on your PaaS itself. Are you clear? Yep. Sandeep, I am from VM environment, so today's topic is a little bit more hard for me. Now I understand the things, and I will do this and will ask query if I appreciate today as well as yesterday's video. It will help me to recap and then practical. Sure, Sandeep. I would be more than happy to do that. Uh, See, it's getting converted. I just wanted to show you out. Okay. Yes, it's already done. Converted recordings. Okay, I have it. Okay. So don't worry. I'll push it on the YouTube and you can find it over there, Sandeep. It's a matter of around another half an hour. Okay, you can find it over there. Hi, Chandu. Can we change the deployment option once web app is created? Deployment option is up to you. You no need, it's not like you have to change it or anything. Maybe previously if you're using FTP, now you can even use Visual Studio, not a problem. You can use any of these things. Is that okay? Any other questions? Cool. So let's go ahead with the traffic manager. It's going to be the last cup for today. Okay, migrating apps, scaling, all these things we have done, right? Scaling up the instance, we did it. And yes, you have this application settings. Okay, so this is one major important thing. Another major one, so you have something called as application settings. You can find it when you go for the web app. So I will go for CodeSizzler India, and you can find application settings here. See, this application settings speaks about what are all the frameworks it supports with and what is the version that you're going to use. So you need to mention it here. Let's say if it is .NET, you should mention what version of .NET you're going to use it here. And same for the Java version. And you have the WebSockets. Okay, you can scroll down. You find ARR affinity as well. So that's a cookie session. You can either put it at on or off, depends upon the business scenario what you're going to use. You can also go with swapping one, okay, auto swapping, and you have remote debugging. You can on remote debugging, and you can say which studio version it's going to use. It can debug automatically, and you have the application settings. You can connect with other database as well using the connection strings. Okay, you can click on add new connection string. See, it supports for SQL Azure, SQL Server, MySQL, and even a custom one. Okay, so those things are there, and the default documents that you can find it, and you can also add new handler mappings over here. Okay, and you have virtual applications and directories. That is, it's going to route for the exact path where it has to be landed up. So you can also add that virtual applications and the directories. So that's about application settings, and it can also perform security features like taking an Azure backup. So you can go for backups, and here you can perform backup. You can take a snapshot, or you can take a backup for every, let's say, 1 hour once or 2 hours once. Okay, you can perform that over here. So that's also possible. And scrolling down more, you should find scale up and scale out, the one which we already discussed, right? You can scale up at any moment and you can scale out at any moment. So it's all at your hands. It depends on the business scenario that you can put it across. Okay. And yes, you have the Kudu console here, you have app service editor, all these things. Now let's go ahead speaking about alerts. So here also you can find something called alerts, same like what we were discussing yesterday. So you can go for alerts, and you can add a new metric alert. Let's say I've added a metric alert. The name is rule or alert one. This is a demo alert for Edureka folks. Okay. Alerts on metrics. Let's call the site and everything. Let's go for metrics and CPU time. Okay. And you should set a threshold here. So when it goes more than one threshold, it should email for the owners. And I'll also add other email IDs. Okay. And let's click on OK to get it done. So the alert gets added up here. So you can monitor using this itself. And you have the process explorer. You can go to the process explorer. It's like your task manager where you can explore the things that you have. It's getting loaded. Let's wait for it. See, you have Kudu console which is running. You have app service which is running. Okay. So you can find the consumption without, I mean, it's like a task manager. It gives you the logs of the CPU time. Okay. All those things. Any questions? Hey all, any questions? Okay, so the next comes your traffic manager. I will move ahead. What should be the backend platform for this web app? It's a Windows server. We selected Windows, right? Are you asking at the OS level or at the language level? OS level, yes, it's Windows Hasha. You can also set it up for either the Linux environment or you can put it on the containers as such. Okay, so this is all handler. Yes, retrieving diagnostics data, endpoint, configuring alerts. This is all we have done. Okay, so let's go up for something called as traffic manager. So the traffic manager is where it's going to allow you to distribute the traffic across different data center regions. Okay, let's say you have the same application which has been maintained at India, and you do have same application which is maintained at US. Okay, still you can do the traffic manager stuff. Okay, where it's going to distribute the traffic based on the algorithm what you have defined it. So traffic manager profile on Azure supports you for four things. Okay. And it can go with VMs, it can go with web apps, and it can also go with cloud services. And it supports for either external and non-external endpoints. Now the point here is that the four algorithms that we have is you have something called as performance, weight, geographic, and finally comes your priority. Okay, I will make it. I'll speak more in detail. I'll put it on notes so that you guys can remember it. So the traffic manager comes up with priority. Okay, you have weighted, and you have performance. You do have something called geographic. So now priority is where, consider you have two VMs. Okay, you have a couple of virtual machines and it runs on the same web app content. You want to make sure that once when one data center region goes down, then the second should work for your request. So what you will do is that the very first VM which you're going to spin up, you will set it as priority 1, and the second VM which you have it, you will split it as VM2. Okay, so the priority 2 is going to be at idle until the priority 1 is going to be at shutdown. So once when priority 1 goes down, then the second will start working for the request. And there you will set a timer like wait for 30 seconds, wait for consecutive intervals of 2 minutes or 3 minutes of time, or hitting for 5 minutes. Okay, and then you can reroute the request towards the second data center region as such. So that's priority. And weighted is based on the weight of the application. Okay, it responds. Performance is the time it takes to respond. Okay, the time of each and every data center region that it takes to respond. Weight geographic is where the nearest data center region that you have. Okay, let's say you have the things like for example, you will be having two data center regions. Okay, one at India and one at Singapore. Your request will get routed and it will get landed up on the exact data center region what you have. Okay, so the nearest data center is where you get landed up. Excuse me, give me a second. Yes, so excuse me. So it's geographic where you go up with the nearest one, okay, the nearest data center location that can survive. Now, all these things works on the DNS level. Okay, all these client requests works on the DNS level, and you will be having a traffic manager which provides the routing based on these algorithms. Okay, so you should specify what sort of algorithm you're going to use. So there we go. We have four sort of things. You can even go for this link to make sense more in detail. See, we have priority, weighted, performance, and geographic. So you can use any of these things. And now understand this architecture. The priority is where the user sends the request, okay, and the DNS response for the priority one. The priority one is gets the status as degraded, then it goes for priority two. And it's still if priority two is also at failure, then for priority three. Okay, same like for weighted you have, weighted is the weight of the application that you have. So if you say the weight is going to be 5, okay, then it's like it requests directly towards that particular data center region. It doesn't take a long time, and the same for the other one as well. Now let's get into the demo for configuring the traffic manager. So what I need to do is I will go with the infrastructure part, because in real time you guys should be looking for infrastructure only on a traffic manager. So let's go for Windows Server, and I'll create a VM called as Web VM1 standard hard disk. So I will name it as TM resource group 1, sorry, TM resource group 1, and I'm going to deploy this at Southeast Asia. Let's click on OK. Let it be B1 standard. Let's click on select. I will go for RTP 3389. Let's click on OK. Let's click on create. So let it get deployed. Let me know if you have any questions, please. Okay, meanwhile, now what I will do is I will also spin up another VM. Okay, let's go for create a resource and let's say web server, Windows server, web VM2. Let it be a hard disk. I will create another new resource group, naming it as Traffic Manager Resource Group 2, and this time at East Asia. Okay. Oh, it does not support for me. Okay, let's go for other regions. I'll put it at East US. Okay, so this time I'll put it at East US. Let's click on OK. So one at Southeast Asia and the other one at East US. Let it be B1 standard. Let's click on select. And yes, here the ADP 3389. Click on OK. And I will click on create now. Tarak, it's a traffic manager. If it is load balancer, it can be on the same region. Traffic manager works on DNS level. It should be on different data center regions. Can explain more on how DNS will work both VMs, or automatically it will configure DNS. See, Tarek, the DNS will be configured automatically. Okay, and the traffic manager work is to retrieve the request from the DNS level. Okay, it checks with the algorithms what you have mentioned. If it is priority, it will reroute the request towards priority one. Okay, or if it is like geographic, then from the DNS level itself, it splits the traffic towards the nearest data center region, and it sends towards that particular nearest data center region where you will get the response. Are you clear, Tarek? Yep. Is there any possibility that can I select the region for hosting the web app? Oh, Chandu, that's a nice question. Once when we created a web app, you should have seen that we selected the data center region. I can show you once again. I will go for a web app. See here, uh, Windows. Okay. Here you would be selecting a data center region. Do you remember? When you create an app service plan, you would have selected, see here, you have locations. So from there you would have selected it. Got it, Chandu? Cool. Okay. So let's go to the resource. Okay. Uh, this IP. This is WebVM1. Do remember. Okay. So I'll name it here WebVM1, and the second VM is getting deployed. Let's wait for it. Okay, let's wait for it. Traffic management default settings. Yes, Tarak, you're right. Since this machine is of low configuration, it takes a bit long time. Let's check for the other VM as well, if it has been created. Let's copy this. Let's go for the local server, and I will set the I enhanced security configuration to be off. Let's select off for it. And now let me go ahead with PowerShell on installing IAS. Okay, so let's go for Windows PowerShell. And here I will give the command to install IAS. Okay, so it is add hyphen Windows feature hyphen name web server. So this will install IAS on your machine. See, it gets data collected. We shall do the same for this VM as well, the second VM. So again, for your remembrance, one is at Southeast Asia and the other one is at East US. Let's click on no and Windows PowerShell. So let's getting loaded. Okay, here it has been installed. Now what I will do is I will just close it and I will go for File Explorer and I'll make the changes on my IAS. Right, I'll go for this PC and in my C drive I should have inetpub. Let's go for root and I'll make the changes here. So let's open this with Notepad. And here I'll make the changes. So it is Southeast Asia, right? So I will just put it as Southeast Asia. And now the WebVM2. Let's go here and install IES again. Add Windows feature. So this will get the IIS installed, okay, on the second VM. Meanwhile, come to the Azure portal. Okay, so this is my Azure portal. Let's go for WebVM1 and we shall configure the DNS. You can find DNS name, right? So you need to configure it. Click on configure and give a unique name for this DNS. I'll name it as WebVM1. Okay, WebVM1.Southeast Asia. So I get a green color tick mark here, which means that it's available. So let's click on save to save it. Well, so that's done. The second thing is you need to do the same for WebVM2 also. Let me first complete the IAS part and then I will do this for this. Okay, so let me close this. Let's go for this PC. inetpub root. Yes, so here I'll make the changes saying that this is from, what is this? East US, right? Okay, slash h1. Okay, well, so this is also done. I will configure the DNS here. Let's name it as WebVM2 and I will click on save. Now, after configuring both of these things, I'm going to create a traffic manager profile. So let's go for create a resource and I will call for traffic manager. See, I have traffic manager profile. So let's click on create to create a traffic manager profile and I will name it here. So let me name it as CodeSizzler traffic manager. Routing based, it will be priority. Okay, and let's put it on a resource group. Let's say I'll put it on the resource group 1. It could be on anything. Okay, even a new one, no problem about it. Okay, so now let's go for this traffic manager. And the very first thing that I need to do here is I have to go for configuration. Okay, you have priority, you have all these things. Okay, you come for endpoints and you add the endpoints now. So click on add and add the endpoint. It's going to be Azure endpoint. Okay, let's name it here end endpoint 1, and it's from a public IP address. So choose the public IP address here, web VM1, okay, which is priority 1. Let's give it as okay. So the priority 1 gets added here. Can you find this priority 1, which is endpoint 1? That is the VM1. Okay, and next is endpoint 2 from the public IP address web VM2 priority 2. Click on OK. So that also gets added. Let's wait checking for the endpoints. Okay. Still checking. Let's refresh. Okay, we need to wait until it gets done. Let me know, guys, if you have any questions. Can we use scale set here? No, Chandu, scale set cannot be used here. Scale set works only for application gateway and for your the other one, load balancer. Does it has any limit for endpoints? No, it doesn't have any limit. It says degraded. It's running, right? Let's check with the configuration, the traffic manager. DNS time 30 seconds. Priority based. Okay. Okay, that's so fine. Let's come save. Ideally, this should work. Monitoring status is degraded. Don't know if the data center regions were down recently. I don't know whether it's up again or not. Well, guys, just make sense here. Okay, I'll share you the document as well. The data center was down. Okay, and still we have not got it updated. It's timed out. Uh, See, I will show you Azure South Central US down. It's not here. See, can you find this blog? It was like for past 5 days where it has gone down. South Central US, the complete US regions has gone down. Okay, so just makes sense. This is how you can put up your traffic manager. I will share you the document as well. Okay, I have the document with me on the GitHub. Still, I will also post it. Okay, so you can find it from there. Express route and traffic managers are two different concepts. Yes, Chandu, express route is completely different and traffic manager is different. Express route is like Route 53, what you have in Azure, sorry, AWS. Okay, traffic manager is different from that. Any other questions? Any other questions, guys? Well, so by that, we come to the end of this module. Okay, where we are working with web apps, traffic manager, all these things. I have a clear document which speaks about traffic manager with the results. Okay, what you can do is again the same github.com/CodeSizzler. You go for 7523 Azure, and in IaaS you can find traffic manager. Can you find this Azure Traffic Manager? Okay, demo traffic manager docs. So I will share this link. I will also put it on the YouTube. Don't worry. Okay, so I can make sense with this. Try after some time, it will work for sure. It's all the matter of data center regions. Okay, so go with that, and do let us know if you have any questions on whatever we discussed for web apps. Okay, I came up with someone who was speaking about. I'm from infra background, so it's like I mean, like it's complicated. So let me know. Okay, either write for support at edureka.co or please do even write it to me. I can respond back to you guys if you have any questions. Is that okay? Hey guys, are you there? Any more questions? Okay, Asha, thank you so much. Do fill the feedback forms as well. Okay, and post me if you have any questions also. Okay, and if you have created any resource, please delete it and try creating. Sandeep, hi. That will direct to the endpoints. Yes, you are right, Chandu. Sandeep, you have some question. Can I shut down one of the VM and try TM will work? Yes, of course. You need to shut down one of a VM and it will work. Okay, but even before shutting down, it should reroute your request. Okay, but unfortunately, I have used US regions here. Or you can go with any other data center region. This is Azure Pass, so it does not support for other region for me. Okay, you can try with other region, it will work. Priority is you should put it one on shutdown, then the other one will work. Okay. Any other questions? And if you have created the resource, please do the cleanup process. Okay, or else it will cost you. Can you give me one real-time scenario where we use traffic manager? That's awesome. Chandu, consider any apps. Consider any. Let's consider Amazon. Okay, I'll go here. See, I will go for Amazon.com. Okay. So when I land up there, I should get a pop-up where it says, "Do you want to go for Amazon.com or Amazon.in?" If I'm just saying, for example, on DNS level, I can just go for Amazon.in, right? Indian data center, whereas this could be for other data centers. Now, what Amazon has done here is they have deployed the vendors of US alone in .com and vendors of India .in. So this is where you split the traffic. Are you clear? Flipkart operates here, and Flipkart even can operate on Singapore or anywhere. So what this guy can Flipkart can do is that they can reroute the request again, like one data center region for India and the other one for Singapore as such. Is that okay, Chandu? Yes. Any more questions? Cool, no problem, Chandu. So well, by that we come to the end of this module. Okay, please work with hands-on, and we will be going for the other modules by the upcoming weeks. Okay, do let me know if you have any questions on the same. Right. And thank you so much for joining. I'll post the video on the YouTube. You can find it over there. You can also find the recorded sessions over on the LMS. Okay. Let us know if you have any questions.